edition of the ATU Library webinar series, and the theme for this webinar is Beyond the Screen, uncovering the true value of webinars in higher education. And this also helps us to climax celebrating 5 years of impactful ATU webinar and mentorship series. We can just recall how we all started, and right from the very first episode of ATU webinar series, library series, we have had very meaningful and insightful discussions over and over and over again. And this one also promises to be another very insightful moment where we all, stakeholders and special guests from diverse, unique areas, come to share our views on very important matters. For starters, I would have to play one video, because this video actually helps us appreciate the milestone of the ATU Library webinar series, and this is a very special one. So just all anticipate for what's going to happen in the next 1 minute as I show you this video about how far we've come as an institution, an organization, and also a very special program. Stay with me.
Thank you very much. Yes, my name is Dr. Florence Bloke, the University Librarian of Accra Technical University. So virtually what inspired me to start this webinar series was when I resumed duty at ATU. That was around July 2020. And that was when the country was just recovering from the pandemic. And so the campus was virtually deserted. I mean, few students were coming around and there was not much activities on campus. The library was virtually empty. And I thought of doing something to engage the community and also to introduce myself as a new university librarian that has resumed. And so I shared the idea with the then Pro-Vice Chancellor to organize a webinar series. And then he bought into the idea. So I had a discussion with my library staff. We set up a committee. And then, yes, we started. So the first series came on the 1st of October 2020. And as a result of introducing myself, I facilitated that webinar with the support of my senior colleagues, the then Mr. Boete Norte Bue of the University of Education, Winneba Library, the University Librarian of Dr. McAntony of Cape Coast University, and then Dr. Kodo Achicho from Cape Coast Technical University, who were my co-facilitators. And then the team was academic library contribution to teaching, learning, and research in tertiary institutions. And then we had about 84 attendants. And then the feedback was so great, was so awesome. And then we decided to try the second engagement. That was on the 11th of November 2020. And surprisingly, we had about 138 participants. Whoa, and it was so encouraging. The feedback was great. People wanted more. And so we went on and on and on. And here we are in the 5th year with 17 series and then 4 mentorship series. Together we have 21 series. Yes, one of the highlights, remember, was when we had our first mentorship series, and where we had university librarians sharing their experiences with the participants, and the participants were all over almost all of the entire country, all the university, all librarians that you can think of. They were really, really happy. They didn't even want the program to end. Even after the program, we were also discussing issues that affecting librarianship, where this people open up with us and share their experience with us. And then there was one series was also about academic witchcraft, where the professor also shared insights on the issues that we face in academia, the political terrain, and then how, as a young researcher, you should be able to overcome and not just waste away. I think it had a very significant impact. And because of that, we are going to have series on academic witchcraft. Thank you. Yes, it has really contributed a lot and is still contributing. For example, we've had series that talks about how to navigate your research terrain, how to do research, how to use the tools for research, and even how to increase your visibility using social media. And we have, as a result, we have had a lot of people reaching out to us to assist them to set up, how to generate content, how to set up their social media accounts and all that. And even the last one about reclaiming lost opportunities on campus, reflect, reset, and build by Professor Gideon K. Hellegwe from University of Development Studies. I mean, it's where that series brought hope for many students, because some of them have tried and then they have lost hope. And that webinar series also brought hope. And the interesting thing is that it wasn't just for ATU students, it was also once again open up, and a lot of people, almost all over the country, students. So our webinar series is not to the benefit of our students alone, but let me say to worldwide. So I think the next series we are planning, we've realized that there are lots of stress in the system, especially when it comes to the academia. Now people don't even have rest because of the nature of our calendar, because of the COVID. And so we are thinking of doing something on work-life balance. It's now on the preparation stage. It's going to be exciting. And then we are looking forward to that day. We are talking about the facilitator. We are putting things on paper, and it will come out soon. Watch out for that one. Yes, we have a lot of team behind the scenes. And so those who come out with the one who generates the idea, the topic, then the one who prepared the flyers. And after the flyers have come out, what we do is basically we share them on our social media, WhatsApp platform. We are almost all of us in a different group of WhatsApp platform. We have colleagues in various universities and even abroad outside Ghana. So we share, and it has triple effect. We share, and you ask your colleague to also share with their contact. That colleague also share in their contact. So eventually we have a lot of places that we share. And then AAU also shares on their platform. And so these are places that we share: LinkedIn, status, WhatsApp, Facebook, where have you. Oh, this webinar series is really very impactful. A lot of lessons and opportunities to learn. So we ask, anytime you see the call, anytime you see any upcoming flyer, please, I'm encouraging all of us to participate, to join, to listen. And I think we'll learn so much from them. One of the memorable moments about all the series is the number of attendees. sometimes you watch other or you participate in other webinar series, international webinar series, and maybe the participants are about 30, 40, but ours most of the time, sometimes we cross hundreds. And when I think of it and how people have come to appreciate it, people are enjoying it, I'm really humbled. And then also the feedback we get from all over is really humbling. And so that has been a very memorable one. And especially the Witchcraft series. People love it. People talk about it all over. You go somewhere, people are talking about the webinar series. And sometimes we even get the nickname like Elias Santua in the library. And I think I really appreciate it. Together with my team, we say thank you. Challenges, yes, sometimes it's not easy, even though we don't spend much, but sometimes getting the facilitators, and especially when you have a series that you have about 2 or 3 facilitators, how to get all of them to agree on a particular date and time sometimes is very challenging, but always we are able to overcome it. Let me use this opportunity also to thank the management of ATU for buying into this webinar series, and especially my VC. My VC will always make sure he is on and supporting us of each series. Even the day that he is not there himself, he will record his speech and make sure that we play it. Thank you, Professor Amevi Akakovi, for your wonderful support, for motivating us to come this far. We are very grateful.
You can put your hands together. So put your hands together wherever you are. It's been an amazing journey thus far. The library department and the team have done so well. And here we are. We're seeing the results. It's an amazing trajectory. And let's now start the whole process. You're welcome once again to the 19th edition of the ATU Library webinar series. And let me start to introduce our amazing line of speakers or panelists for today. And we'll start with the very first speaker and the person of Dr. Theodosia Adanu. Doc, can we see your face? Splendid.
Hello.
There you are. Hi. Doc Theodosia Adanu is the head librarian, Entrance University of Health Services, Sciences, also former university librarian, University of Ghana. You're welcome, Dr. Theodosia. And next is Narisa Kama. She is project coordinator, Information Africa Organization, Kenya. Hi, Narisa. Glad to see you as well. We also have Happiness Michael Onoha, and she is head of division, workshop, and training at the Center for Learning Resources, Governor University, also Nigeria. Governor University is one university that always loves to be held. The great university. You got that from me. And finally, is Dr. Florence Bloke, University Librarian at Catholic University, Ghana. She, I would say, is the founder of the ATU Library webinar series. Dr. Florence, can we see you? Okay, I believe she would be getting the network fixed. But once again, lovely panelists, you are welcome to the 19th edition of the ATU webinar library series. And you know, this webinar didn't just pop up through the bloom. It has been work that has been nurtured over so many years. The tapestry of it is what we can all admire, that it's actually had a lot of hard work and teamwork, team members, the likes of Donus, the likes of Obed, and other team members behind the scenes in the library department who had made this possible. But we have also come here on a more alarming topic that we all need to share our views on. And to also say a very big welcome to all our participants across the continent. I mean, all of you, so many people here who are within Africa and beyond Africa. And we'd love to hear from you in the comment section, your name and where you are joining us from, so that we can also acknowledge you. So over the course of the session, you can just hit us on the comment section, your name, what you do, and then where you're joining us from, so we can also acknowledge you. Well, moving on, we actually addressed a very important theme on beyond the screen, uncovering the true value of webinars in higher education. And, if you all followed what Plucky was saying, she said, what actually stated this whole webinar series was the fact that when we were trying to recover from the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, they got the idea to engage stakeholders because people were pretty down. They felt to be in these sessions as a ways and means to keep their department active and also share knowledge. And that's how come we found this activity on and on today becoming a culture for the department. So let's start with Dr. Plucky, if she's here, who has been within the storyline for the past 5 years. Over the past 5 years, webinars have become a common tool in education from the perspective, or from your perspective. What makes webinars, or today online or teleconferencing, unique compared to other learning platforms? Have we just come to adopt a system because we had no alternative, or we see a very important avenue to actually augment learning through webinar platforms, webinars? Can you share with us, from your perspective, how significant webinar platforms have become in this area of knowledge sharing? Doc, you're muted. Sorry.
Sorry, okay. Please, you can hear me right?
Very well.
Okay, thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Yes. As you said, webinars has come to stay. I mean, it's very unique because we are able to break barriers, right? As we stand here, we are able to speak to somebody from Kenya, and I now have my colleagues from Kenya on board, somebody from Nigeria. Sometimes we get people from US, Canada, and what have you. So we are able to break barriers, which of course we wouldn't have been able to do, because there is no way I could get a plane ticket. My institution would sponsor me to be attending some of these workshops. But because of Zoom, I'm able to attend webinars. I'm able to listen to some of the workshop conferences through Zoom. Also, it's very convenient. As I speak to you, I'm in the house, at the comfort of my house. Yes, so it's very, very convenient and also very interactive. We are able to share, discuss, ask questions, and also, like I said, meet colleagues across the globe. So it's very unique, and also able to do things that we wouldn't have done it locally. Share knowledge, accessibility to experts from various countries, and also to network. I think it makes webinar a very unique and cost-saving effect to learn and share knowledge. That's what I can say for now, and to engage the community. Please, we can't hear from you.
About that, thank you very much, Dr. Plucky, for your response. And let me move to Dr. Adanu on this. So, Doc, per what Dr. Plucky has said, do you believe that webinars are primarily a response to necessity based on what our post-pandemic experiences we had to adopt webinars, or they are truly a sustainable, much effective, and much, I would say, comprehensible platforms for the future?
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator or Dr. Moderator. Thank you. I think that they've always been there, but they became more popular during and after the pandemic. And I think we began to see its usefulness more after the pandemic. And it is a sustainable tool for the future. For the reasons that Dr. Plocky has given, and although it has its downsides, it is advantageous for its wide reach, as she's already mentioned. But then we all know it has its disadvantages. I don't know if I can speak a little about that, Mr. Moderator, or we'll come to that.
We'll certainly get to there at that point. So let's do the other side first.
Okay, but I think it's sustainable. Definitely, it is sustainable. I mean, 5 years of ATU webinars shows that it's sustainable. And many of us have taken part in lots of other webinars that go to prove that it is sustainable, and it's a tool that we can look forward to even in the many years to come.
Splendid, splendid. I love that premise you made over there. To you, Nerissa, on the other hand, how do we actually measure the impact of webinars? Should it be about the knowledge we've gained, the skills applied, or the long-term professional growth that one would say has experienced over time participating in webinars? What actually is the scale of impact that we assess with webinars from your perspective?
Yeah, thank you so much. And before I make my comments, I wish to congratulate the ATU Library. This is actually an amazing job you're doing. And when it comes to impact of measurement of webinars, of course, basically the back knowledge you have to look at about the knowledge we gain, the skills applied, and the long-term professional growth. And of course, all this looks into the users, the perspective of our potential and the participants we attract or the people we're addressing. So for me, impacts, I would look at it in terms of attendance rate, not necessarily those who register for the percentage of registration for the live event, but I would also look at it in terms of consistency. Because now we're celebrating 5 years, we'd want to see those of us who've been there from the first year to now, how consistent have we been? And how has it evolved to perhaps a community of practice where we now talk about a WhatsApp group emanating from this particular webinar series. And then also the other thing would be, I would also want to measure that impact relating to the engagement rate. So we go back to the chat rooms and see what discussions are ongoing, the question and answer, and also beyond that, the connections in relation to, beyond that, to collaborations. What other collaborative impacts have we brought into this? Have we seen colleagues collaborating to write articles? Have we seen colleagues coming up together to a given project? Have we seen libraries organizing conferences related to the same? And the other issue is conversation rate. How do we track colleagues who've been part of this to keep the conversations? I know we may push this beyond here to our regular social media platforms and want to see how do we sustain this between the first one to the second meeting. And of course, I know all of us will be saying, okay, fine, if we're looking at the views and the rates, average viewing duration, or how we sustain people in the meeting, then we've got these cutting across challenges in Africa, electricity, poor network, capacity of our gadgets, and accommodative apps, etc. But then still that one has to be behind our thoughts. I'd look at impact from my view from there. Thank you.
Amazing. I actually love the point you made about the community of practice as one of the extended impacts, because we can now have a group of persons who share that kind of interest and always provide knowledge within that area, which is also a very great impact we can see from webinars. To you, Happiness, let's look at this. What are some of the concrete examples of positive changes webinars have produced in your institutional field? I believe you may also have set sessions you run in your institution. Have there been any positive changes that you have experienced or noted that you want to share with us over time?
Okay, thank you very much. When we talk about positive changes, there have been lots of positive changes actually that webinar has brought. Some of them will include they've been able to drive innovation. They've been able to, give skill development by participants coming on board to participate and be taught different ways of handling, what they never knew how to handle before now, especially in the profession, in the library and information science profession. And there has been also community building. When we gather in webinars, you tend to see different people from your field and you are able to interact with them. You are able to discuss. You are even able to, network with them. So this coming together using webinars to teach or to learn has really done a lot. I will also want to add the issue of, learning how to run our services. Like a lot of librarians have been taught on how to use different cataloging modules online. When webinars are organized, especially the ones that deals with teaching how to use RDA, we don't have to travel all the way to the US or maybe to a particular place to learn. But while we are engaged here on, the webinar, librarians are taught how to use the metadata, digital literacy, all of this has really helped that while they are in their country, they are able to learn. And then there's a follow-up as well. So our services have been made so simple by this very webinar. Thank you.
Amazing. And, just as we were talking earlier with Dr. Donu, she was eager to share some of the disadvantages that webinars pose. And I think I will bring that question back to her again. Research, empirical data often portrays that webinars are cost effective, are flexible, are more accessible. I mean, people are able to reach a very wide audience through a webinar, unlike having a physical meeting with own logistical challenges. Do you think these claims are true? And if they are true, why then do you still hold some disadvantages, and what would they be?
I would say that we should be careful about running away from physical meetings and depending completely on these webinars because they have their limitations. My colleague spoke about networking, but I think there's a limit to how much networking we can do via webinars, unless maybe we take the person's contact and follow up after that. But within the webinars, it's virtually impossible. Unlike physical conferences that when you go, there are break times, you can sit down, network, have lunch together, have tea together, which is not possible in a webinar. And another disadvantage I'd like to talk about is, yes, we talk about accessibility, but that's not true for everybody because it needs good device, it needs knowledge of how to use the platform, it needs good internet and all that. But then all things being equal, it should be accessible, but is it? That's the question I would ask. So that could be a disadvantage. Technology could be a disadvantage. I was in a webinar this past Saturday, and I realized that people need to be taught how to use the platform. There was a need for people to rename, and somebody was so flustered and frustrated. She couldn't rename, even after being instructed to. And then she was like, okay, I'm leaving the platform because I can't rename. So I said, no, don't. We'll teach you how to do it. So again, even if we really want to use webinars well, we should teach people how to use the different tools for good effect. And then another disadvantage I would like to mention is we can't gauge the level of engagement of the participants or enthusiasm of the participants. I've been in sessions where I've facilitated and I've wondered, are these people really, do they really get it? Do they understand? But then all I have to do is continue to speak and hope they do. But then in a physical meeting, you can gauge from people's body languages, their faces and things. So short of looking at the comments, and not everybody will put a comment there. You just have to go on and hope that people are engaging. So those are some of the disadvantages I'd like to speak to. Thank you.
Well noted. Well noted. And let me come to you, Narisa. The points that Dr. Adenu made are very strong, giving us some very pertinent, I would say, way downs to this whole digital experience with webinars, even though it has all these accolades of being cost effective, flexible, she mentioned how do you also see how people are conversing with the platforms. But let's come to you on this one. We are in the fourth industrial revolution, which one expects that digital systems acquaintance should be the order of the day. Are we pretty laid back? We have a saying that you are asleep but your legs are outside. Is that the case? We think that everybody is along with us and the conversations or resonance with these online platforms or digital platforms for engagement. But are we really on a wild goose chase because other people have not got an idea of how to access these platforms? What's your view on this?
Yeah, thank you so much. On the view of being right there, taking it back to where we started with the pandemic, it is something which we're not going to run away from. So what I would address is I would look at it in terms of how can we onboard people, and our onboarding people is in relation to how consistent are we. So we're looking at consistency in terms of how we bring these colleagues on board, so that we're able to be where everyone else is. Because then when you look at these webinars, at times we look at it in terms of significance and consistency of impact to the community we're addressing, and what the outcome naturally should be something like the best practice. So best practice in terms of the best practice from how the webinar is conducted, the best practice which will help us further to now come back, go forward and do further engagements, which will support learning as well as which will create new knowledge. And looking at that, we are not going to be left behind, because then we are moving towards a knowledge-based economy. Look at economies in the world, it is knowledge-based, and we're looking at how best learn from us, looking at this webinar series and managing from the library. We are looking at them as librarians, how do we repackage ourselves to be able to disseminate information? And this is one aspect which you cannot fail to look at, how best to reach out to the client. I look at it in that way. Of course, as mentioned by my colleague who's just spoken, the issues which would disrupt the flow, interactiveness, and engagement of these webinars. And one which would also want to address in going forward would be the question of this issue of one-way presentation. And this might as well, of course, reduce the concentration of the participants, leading to some of this dropping out. So this gives us the question of, are we ready to board? And if we're ready, how best are we going to work with our other colleagues so that we are with the rest of the world? I would respond like that. Thank you.
All right. And to you, Happiness, some critics argue that webinars lead to the digital fatigue rather than learning. Dr. Adanu's point she made quite encircles these areas. Well, digital fatigue, I'm not really getting to see you. When I see you in person, I shake your hand. There's this energy that the aura that it brings when we are present and we meet each other, against the aura where we feel when you are just seeing me through a lens of a camera, far beyond the shores of where you are. Do these experiences culminate to a digital fatigue rather than we actually learning and sharing meaningful exchanges on these digital platforms? Do you agree to that saying that there's digital fatigue through webinars?
Well, I will answer these in two ways. I'll say, okay, maybe a yes and a no, in the sense that when you talk about digital fatigue, it all depends on the design of the webinar. You know, if a webinar is well designed, well planned, and well delivered, I don't see anyhow it is going to cause anything called digital fatigue. When a webinar is designed with the people in mind, you are delivering, you are making your delivery, you are getting people to participate alongside with you, you make your webinar short, go straight to the point, preach the content, perhaps maybe 15 minutes into your program or the lecture, you have a breakout session, make use of the breakout room, let them share ideas amongst themselves. There's nothing like digital fatigue that will come in that way. It is only when it is a kind of monologue, one-way traffic. You are the only one talking. They are not engaging on the chat platform. They are not using the Q&A platform. They are not making use of the poll. You are not giving a poll for them to respond. That is only when they can complain that it's giving digital fatigue. A webinar that is well planned will not give digital fatigue. It is only when it is dull, or maybe the subject you are taking is a kind of a subject that is complex, and the participants are not involved. They are not participating. They are not asking questions. They are trying to, wrap their heads around what is being taught or what is being, passed on to them. That is when they begin to look at it as if it has digital fatigue. So it could be a yes, it could be a no, depending on how you planned your webinar. A well-planned webinar will not give anything called digital fatigue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that is where we actually, we will just hold the discussion up here a little bit, and then we'll just dive into the comment section. And I see there, hello everyone, this is from Juliet Arima from MOI University, Kenya. You're welcome, Juliet. Good day, everyone. I'm Akimi Rubin from Lautech Teaching Hospital Medical Library, Obumasu, Oyo State, Nigeria. You're welcome. This is from Mabel Asabia Ayita. Says, sure, there's digital fatigue, especially when webinars take a long time. Delivery is not engaging. There are breaks also among the other things. So as Happiness mentioned, that if we actually mix our webinars with these interesting sessions, it actually alleviates that fatigue that would be created. Lily Magero from Nairobi City University County Assembly, you're welcome. So all the panelists, let me just give a short room for our participants to share their views. If you're a participant here and you've been with us for the past 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you should have an opinion here. If you agree, that the conversation now is a bit, is key towards some sides. Dr. Danu has her own stance. Narisa has a stance, and also Happiness has a stance. And these are very unique stance that we should all respect that. You can come in, put your hands up. You can put your hands up using the emoji icon, and then let's invite you to share your view. Do you think that it calls for a break with webinars? Would there be a need for us to actually have webinars and physical sessions mixed up in a hybrid format, or we can see webinars in the future? So webinars are going to be enhanced over time. Of course, today we have so many platforms which are coming with some super enhanced features through Zoom and on the others. So let's hear from you. What is your comments on the discussion so far? You can also share via the chat box. If you don't want to show your face and talk, you can share via the chat box, and I'll be able to read that for you. I think this is from Vili Magero from Nairobi City County Assembly. She says, digital fatigue mainly arises from cumulative screen time that doesn't just come from webinars, but use of phones and computers at work, then zone out to webinars. We can, however, manage that through suggestions offered by Happiness, and that has been well cited in there, that you have a more mixed bag of activities that keeps the room active. So do we have any Any comments from our audience? You can put your hand up, share a camera, and let's see your face, and let's tell us what you think. Anybody? Okay.
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, my name is Juliet Rima from Kenya. Thank you so much for organizing this very informative webinar. It's an issue that's an area that's quite alive to all of us because that's where we are. Yeah, I agree with all the speakers when you all talked about the pros and the cons of webinars. And just one quick observation. Sorry, I can't put on my video.
That's fine. That's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So one quick observation that I'd like to make is that we are improving as the African continent because where we used to go wrong is on the timing. If you observe many webinars that take place in the West, they're very keen with timing. When a webinar is supposed to start at this time, on the dot it's kicked off, and it ends at the exact time. And again, the timing is just right, not to tire the participants. So I think from today's webinar, I can say that we are picking up as the African continent, and that's one area we can use to ensure that webinars remain helpful to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Juliet, for your comment. And unless we can actually take the final questions, we're just wrapping up at the moment. We have learned right from the start of the conversation to this point, and also happen to appreciate the downsides to webinars and how they could be enhanced. I've been here from the speakers that far. So let's now look at the future. After picking this, we'll hear from Dr. Florence on some of the way forward with ATU Library webinar series. But for you panelists, let's look at this in this case. Would you say that webinars still are worth investing into compared to alternative approaches such as the short in-person workshops, hybrid events, online learning platforms? Today we have living labs, which are also in virtual formats, virtual living labs, amazing workhouses online. Would you say that we should invest in these platforms and hold more? But before that, I see Joseph's hand up. Joseph Owusukwachi. Joseph, talk to us. Hello, Joseph, can you hear me? Go ahead, please. Yeah, Joseph, you're muted. Sorry. No, I meant you are muted. Your camera is, your microphone is muted, yeah. No. Still muted. Yes, go ahead. Yeah, no, you're not allowed. Yeah. Okay. You can go ahead.
All right. My name is Joseph from Ho Technical University. Webinar, I support the idea of webinar. I mean, it's been amazing. I've been following ATU series, ATU series. You know, ATU and ATU, it's similar.
Similar.
I've been following your series, and I might commend your library for the great job that you are doing. My only challenge with, especially in our part, sometimes you miss a webinar, but it's very difficult to get it. I think that we need to create a digital library where after every webinar, you see clearly that webinars are recorded, but sometimes you will go back for such series and you will never get it. So my appeal is that we should always create a digital library where all these things can be put there, so that we will not reinvent the wheel always whenever such subjects are raised, because they are very educative, very important, but we mostly put them anywhere, and you don't get back to them whenever you request for such webinars. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joseph, for your comments. And I think that ATU is doing well. They've created a YouTube channel where all the sessions recorded are uploaded. So they will try to draw all of you to visit their YouTube channel and get access to previous episodes of their webinars. Great. This is now coming to you, our panelists. Do you think we should still invest in webinars on the way forward? To you, sir, I don't know, Doc. What do you think?
Please. I mean, very much so. I'm in no way suggesting that webinars are not useful. I benefited so much from the last webinar ATU did, from the lady at Murchison Center. What's her name again? The work balance webinar.
Yeah.
Professor Claire Stewart.
Let's manage. Yeah, that was an excellent session. All I'm saying is that I think we should not, and there are so many reasons why we want to invest in webinars, but the point I'm trying to say is that let's not lose sight of some of its limitations and then be so drawn to it that we rule out completely physical meetings. That's basically what I'm saying. But then, yes, let's continue to invest because it has a wide reach. It's a lot of people benefit. Learning goes on, information is shared, promotion is done. It's with all its benefits. But then let's also make the effort to meet physically. So definitely it's worth investing in. And let's continue.
Very well. And I'll move to Narisa on this one. And with this question, I think every one of you can take a bite of it in rotation. Narisa, if you had the chance to contribute some features in redesigning our webinar or digital conferencing space to make it more sustainable and super effective and efficient, what features would you want to lay on board? And I would love to hear from you, Happiness and Dr. Adano, on what features would you want to share to make these platforms very formidable and very encapsulated in the way that you think will make engagement a commonplace. Let's hear from you, Narisa.
Yeah, thank you so much. And adding just to what my colleague mentioned is this need for us to embed. If we've started working on this webinar series, we should embed to the institutional work. So we embed it to our institution so that it's part of us. And then, of course, what you've asked, I'll be looking at it in terms of let's enhance the live polls, let's enhance the breakaway rooms, let's utilize them because we really utilize this. Let's increase interactive opportunities based on those two and other features. At the same time, what I would want to change, for example, is the question of having AI integrated to this, so that we're able to get a summary of this from AI, and then for those of us who've missed out, they can follow it up and pick at least what has been summarized. Of course, we know AI has quite a lot of its challenges in terms of is it authoritative, so authentic enough, and is it giving a reflection of what was featured by what was being discussed. So I'd look at that, and I'd also perhaps look at it in terms of personalization of the content, question answer session, at the same time empowering the smart Q&A session so that we're able to now rank priorities of questions which users put there, and that will help in building future webinar series or future topics based on the topic under discussion. I'll put it like that. Thank you.
Great. To you, Happiness, what features would you want to put at the table?
Well, I'll say when this webinar actually is scalable, it can accommodate as many participants as possible. If it is possible to put on some icons wherein the attendants can see the rate at which they are being, rated, participation. When they see that this is increasing, this person is speaking and, it's increasing, it will encourage the non-speakers and those people that, will come in and just be quiet all through. It will engage them. It will encourage them, and they want to try, to make participation, their participation in that particular webinar count. It will also be great if all paywall, because there are some webinars you attend, after they are done, the attendants or the learners are not able to reach the recording. You know, it becomes a very difficult thing for them. You should make it open. It shouldn't be walled. It shouldn't be something that they have to start paying. That discourages learning. So if we can incorporate even the breakout rooms, let's make use of them. Don't just come, deliver the lecture, and just handle quick Q&A, and that's it. No. Breakout sessions, I've attended webinars that has really helped us. We didn't have to travel because we're many. Just being in that webinar, 15 minutes after into the program, we were, you know, taken to breakout rooms, about 7. You can even make your choice, the room you want to belong. It was right there, we chose our leader. It was right there, we chose our secretary. So everything we're discussing, they were taking notes. And when we were done, we went back to the main platform to discuss with others what we had in our own breakout session. So all of this will make webinar, you know, more acceptable, and also try to endeavor that the timing is also, you know, taking note of, to encourage people to be able to attend webinars. Thank you.
Awesome. Well noted. And Dr. Adenu, your take on some of the features.
To that question, I would say that there's so much on the online platforms that we haven't explored. Can we explore them and use them? But one thing that I wish that would not change is keeping all participants muted until the presentation is over. I really wish that it was not the responsibility of just the host, but anybody could mute anybody who is disturbing. Because sometimes you are in webinars and you are distracted because of somebody who probably doesn't even know how to mute their mic. So I really wish there was a feature that would allow everybody to be able to mute anybody who isn't the main speaker. But then I would say that let's explore the features that have been provided already and use them well. That's what I would say. Thank you. Our moderator is off.
Donus, please carry on.
The network.
Yeah, hello.
Hello,
So,
Donus.
okay, so Dr. Plucky, what's your take on that? I think it's your turn to give us your take on what features you would like changed. What do you like to bring on the table? Okay, our moderator is back, so I'll hand over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Donus. I'm back. And I think that we are at that point where I heard Dr. Adenu mention that if there will be a feature that could help moderate participants with their cameras and microphones and all that, that would be great. Yes, and that's well noted, Dr. Adenu, for that. Let's also now get to that very point where we can say we want to wrap up. We are almost wrapping up. Let's just wrap up with one final word. If you could summarize in one sentence the true value of teleconferencing, I would say, the broad theme, teleconference education. We actually analyze it down to webinars as a key feature of the whole teleconferencing activity. What true value of webinars in education today? What is the true value of webinars in education today? And in first century education, would it be hinged on webinars for the next unforeseeable time to come? Do we foresee that? And what is our remark towards that? So just one word, brief comments from you all, and then we can now pass the microphone to Dr. Plucky to give us one last and a closing remark. So let's start with you, Dr. Adenu, that we can go to happiness, and then we end with Narisa. Dr. Plucky will now take the microphone on.
Sorry, moderator, I didn't really get your question. What are
so the question is about what are your brief comment on saying that the true value of webinars was education today? We see webinars as one important conduit that would facilitate education in the unforeseeable future as we face on from the 21st century space on?
I would say they are far-reaching. Far-reaching, yeah.
Well, no, that's very succinct. Hi, Happiness.
Okay, I'll say the true value of webinars in education today lies in their power to deliver timely, inclusive, and interactive learning experiences that transcends between geographical and institution boundaries. Thank you.
Thank you. Larissa?
I would say they're intentional. They're intentional. They look in terms of they're intentional because they bring together the geographical barriers. That could be intentional as well as bring close together expertise and sharing knowledge and enhancing, as I said earlier, community of practices. Yeah.
Excellent. If you join me to the comment section, there have been some amazing comments that have come. We have this from Mohammed Hadi that says, fatigue usually arises when there's limited technological know-how or low internet access. Often become frustrated and exhaustion can set in, and when they are unable to gain access. And Richard Bruce Lambda says, presenters must show their faces as best as possible, make more like a podcast. Ruben Akimi says, I want to appreciate the discussion. So far as kudos to the organizers, this is my first time here. I've learned more about today's talk. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, our participants. You've been very engaging with the comment. And to you, Dr. Florence Blockey, the microphone ends on your desk. We would want to pass it out to you. There's so much prospect, as you mentioned, so much expectations. You have started something amazing, and undoubtedly, we all know how promising it is, and take it to the next level. What kind of remarks do you have for institutions who are here? We have got stakeholders from universities, we have CSO representatives over here as well, and they are all listening to you. Is there any remark you have regarding collaboration, regarding the next steps of ATU Library webinar series, and any remarks concerning future collaborations and how we can take the webinar series to a whole different level?
Thank you very much, Dr. Ajaman. I think this series has brought us, like I said, people from geographical boundaries together. It has break boundaries. And for example, I can say that I met Narisa through webinar when she was doing her webinar, and I got involved. And some other colleagues here, I met them through webinars. And so I think it's very, very useful. And even AAU, it's through collaboration. And so some of our colleagues here, please, let's come together and then let's collaborate. I mean, because now we can't sit in our various libraries and say that our clients should come to us. We need to engage them. We need to go out there. And also we should take this form as a professional development, because when we come here, we learn so much, because some of the feedback sometimes we get is so amazing and so awesome. And so we need to collaborate and then do a bigger one. What we are collaborating with Nigeria, we are collaborating with Kenya to be on that international platform. I think it's very awesome. And also, let's be consistent. I think when we start, we can start small and then we grow big. We never know that we will come this far. 5 years, we started gradually, but here we are today. And thank for everybody, especially AAU, my colleagues who have been consistent, my colleagues from Kenya, colleagues from all over. I can't mention only one country. All over. I have colleagues from Tunisia, sometimes US, Canada, I think we need to collaborate. And even from there, we can even get a big grant to do greater things. I think that should be the essence. And as we said, a community of practice is very, very important. And then also take this opportunity to thank, I've seen my senior colleagues here, Nina, Mr. Adolf, and many more. I can't mention their names. I know that I can't mention the names one by one. Thank you all, 5 years. Without your support, we couldn't have come this far. Also thank the university management for supporting us through this years, over the years. And all our facilitators, both national and international. It's been great. And then sometimes I look back and see the facilitators. We had the only emeritus professor in librarianship on our program. We have some professors, both in national and international, on our program. And I say thank you all for coming. You have made the webinar what it is today. It's our participants. Without you, we couldn't have been coming or always bringing new topic on board. So thank you all, and we are grateful. If we can still engage, share your thoughts, even if Dr. Agyemang, if you take your leave, let's continue this conversation for some time. Maybe Donus can take over. Anyway, that.
I think Dr. Agyemang is off, so I'll take over from here. So thank you very much for the insightful discussion that has taken place so far. We are grateful to our panel members for giving us the pros and cons and a deep insight into what webinars can do for our part of the world. Dr. Adanu was talking about the fact that there are so many features about these tools that we should explore more. And so she's not discounting the importance of these tools and especially webinars in our part of the world, but rather we should explore more and use them to our benefit. There's also talk about the downside where even though it is easily accessible to a lot of people and is far-reaching for all others, there is the aspect where people have internet challenges, and we saw part of it even in this meeting where at some point the moderator had to go off and on. And so, yes, the challenges are real. Some of these challenges, we'll work on them as we move on. And then we're hoping that with time, they'll become better, and then they'll become very useful tools for our professional development and then the educational sector as a whole. On this note, I would like to thank all our panel members and then all our participants.
Doris, we have something I'll say. Humble request on joining link. Kindly make it easier friendly. Today's link required patience in.
Yes, I responded to that.
Okay.
The link was.
I think that is why we have a low participant today. We apologize to everyone. Yes, people are calling me backstage about the link. Okay. Sorry about that.
All right, so apologies for the challenges that you experienced in joining the link. The link was actually to take you straight into the meeting, but it's unfortunate that we had to experience what you went through. We apologize for that. We would look at it subsequently and then see what we will do about that. So thank you, all our participants. It's been a 5 years journey so far from 2020 to date. We've been hosting this webinars. This is our 21 in the series that we've been doing. And
sorry, can we ask participants to share their experience? Those who have been following us, maybe some to share their experience.
Okay, so maybe I'll start with Happiness. She's been on for very long. Our webinars. Happiness, can you just share quickly with us what has been your experience so far? What have you, what would you say has been the impact of our webinars in your life, in your career, whatever? Just shortly, so that I'll ask 1 or 2 people before we close. We want to stick to time, since we've already talked about time the time aspect of webinars, which is also something that is a downside for webinars. Yes, web happiness. Hello, happiness.
Yeah.
Please, did you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, happiness. I was just we're talking about 5 years journey for our webinars, what the impact has been so far. I wanted you to quickly, since you've been an ardent follower
Yeah.
of webinars, what do you have to say about the impact of these webinars on your career or your life generally? And then we'll look at the participants as well. If one or two people can share some things about that, then we'll go on. We'll wrap up.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, I've always attended, anyway, not always, but most of the webinars. Whenever I'm aware of a webinar, I try to connect. I've been able to attend some webinars on navigating through uncharted waters, the early career researcher and the academic environment. That was a very, nice webinar I attended. The speaker was Professor Ebenezer Owusu Sekero. So I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that well.
Setre.
Yeah, that's Ghanaian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, from University for Development Studies.
Okay, I attended that and it was amazing. It was wonderful. There was another one that caught my attention. That was on what is it called now? Academic witchcraft.
Okay.
Academic witchcraft.
Yeah, corruption in academia. I was looking for, in fact, I went around telling my colleagues, let's come and see this witchcraft in academia. And everybody, they were all amazed. They were ready. They were interested. Everybody wanted to, participate. Not until we got a notice that it was going to be postponed to another date. So
the witches hijacked it.
Wow. Yeah. So we were all looking forward. And when it was actually postponed, I think it was taken last December, I think December 5th, thereabout. So we had participated and I was like, wow. As it was reeling out, I was like, wow, this is really, really interesting. ATU has been very wonderful with their webinars. How I wish I can, organize webinars like this also in my university, that it happens every month. It is possible. I've learned a lot, and being the HOD training and workshop, I've been working towards, tailoring towards this, that I want my people also to learn and, bring up topics we share to the world, and we can all benefit, from each other's ideas. Thank you so much, ATU. It's been a wonderful time with you, and congratulations on your 5th anniversary.
Thank you very much.
Looking forward to getting more webinars from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Happiness. Any other participant that would like to share one or two things about their experiences with our webinars so far? If you have any experience that you want to share, you can quickly unmute, or you can raise your hand and then I'll call you, and then we'll wrap up. Any? Okay, so since we don't have anyone raising their hand or giving any indication of talking, I would quickly read the messages that we have. Dr. Bruce Lamptey, the University Librarian for KNUST, has put something here. He says that the value areas that we can look at for webinars, which is the subject of this discussion, is education, marketing, authority building, engagement, cost efficiency, and then content strategy. Mabel Asabia Aita from Methodist University, she has put here that it has been very awesome, impactful, and educative following your webinars throughout, and have learned a lot, which has improved my job too. Thank you. So yes, Mabel too has been an ardent follower of our webinars. Thank you for following us these past years, and we hope that you continue to follow us and give us more suggestions on things that we can do that will make our webinars more impactful and then far-reaching as well. So thank you all for joining this webinar. We thank all our participants from Ghana, from Kenya, from Nigeria, from Tunisia, from all over, all those that have not been yet been able to take note of. We are very grateful to you for consistently following our webinars, consistently giving us suggestions as to how to make our webinars better. And we want to say thank you. I don't know if Dr. Plucky will have some final words for us. I want to also thank the management of ATU, our Vice Chancellor, who has been with us all throughout, always providing support, always making it a point to be on all our webinars. Today, for instance, is at a staff deba. There is a staff deba ongoing, and he had to be there to attend to attend to what is going on there. So he couldn't make it today, but he made it a point to do a video for us, so that, and that was what we showed earlier in the webinar. And so that shows the commitment to what we do, his commitment to what we do here. And so we are very grateful, and also for the staff of ATU Library for putting this together, and Dr. Plucky for leading the way all the time. We want to say thank you to you all. Dr. Plucky, over to you, please.
Yes, so I want to say that all our webinars, we have a YouTube channel. And so don't know if you can share the link. We have a YouTube channel. If you go there, each webinar is recorded and is put on the channel. And sometimes I share. And so we will share the link with you. So you yourself, you can just go there and then go through the one you want to watch. And like this one too, we will share. But we will also hope to improve on the webinar series. And like I said, we thank you all of you. Without your participation, we wouldn't have come this far. And also for your comments, your positive comments have inspired us so much. And to my library team, I don't know what I will say. Thank you all, those who are working behind the scenes. I know together we discuss, those who are on technical, those who are doing the marketing, those who are doing the designing, the flyers, everybody, moderators, all of you. I'm really proud of you for how far we have come. To our noble facilitators, the panelists, Happiness, Narisa, Dr. Theodosia, please thank you so much for your time. We are very grateful. And let me also say thank you to some our senior librarians who have participated, who have facilitated in our webinars, and who are always following us. Dr. Adolf, Nina, Dr. Mark Anthony, Mr. Boy, sometimes Mrs. Valentina, a whole lot. I can't mention names, a whole lot. We are really grateful for always following our webinar series. Thank you. And for my colleagues, sometimes after the webinar, your beautiful message, let me say, love notes, so motivating for us to move from strength to strength. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all. Today, we apologize for the link. Please, we apologize.
Thank you, Dr. Plucky, for your final words. The YouTube channel is ATU Library. And when we put this video also on the channel, we'll be sending the link across to all others so that you can also have the video to follow. Vic Adefio says that congrats ATU, inspire us with your consistency with webinars. Juliet Erima, thanks to all the panelists, moderator, and all the organizers of today's webinar. And Dr. Todiosia Adanu says Aiko ATU Library. And we also say Aiko to you for the inspiring us to also do this all the time. All the participants, we are grateful to you for joining us. And on that note, I'll say Aiko to everyone. We'll see you the next time in our webinars. And so if we want to take a quick group picture, if you wouldn't mind, you can put on your video so that we take a quick group picture, and then we'll all say our bye-byes for the day. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm grateful. Until our next webinar, we say bye-bye to everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Donors.
Yes,
Bye.
Doc.
Hello.
Bye-bye.
Please, bye. Can you please copy what is on the chat and then we look at it later?
Okay, Doc.